Helena Petrovna Blavatsky revolutionized Western thinking when she introduced profound Eastern concepts that traditional religions had misinterpreted for centuries. Born in 1831 in Russia, this extraordinary woman traveled the world seeking ancient wisdom preserved in Tibetan monasteries and Hindu temples. According to Blavatsky in The Secret Doctrine, karma is not the system of rewards and punishments that Western religions superficially adopted. It is an immutable cosmic law, as precise as gravity, that governs the entire universe. This law does not judge or punish, it simply balances. The founder of Theosophy explained that every thought, emotion, and action generates an energetic vibration that must find its corresponding response in the cosmos. There is no chance or divine injustice. Everything we experience is the direct result of energies we ourselves have set in motion, whether in this life or in previous existences. Blavatsky emphasized that understanding this law is fundamental to human spiritual evolution. While religions teach that we are born once and judged eternally, ancient wisdom reveals that we are immortal beings in a continuous process of learning and perfection through multiple incarnations. This understanding liberates humanity from fear of eternal punishment and places it on the path of self-knowledge and personal responsibility. Each life is an opportunity to balance the past and create a brighter future. The great occultist demonstrated that karma operates through invisible planes of existence, weaving the fabric of destiny with mathematical precision. When we comprehend this cosmic mechanism, we transform from victims of circumstance into conscious architects of our spiritual evolution. In Isis Unveiled, Blavatsky describes karma as a law of retribution that operates through invisible planes of existence. It is not an entity that judges, but an automatic mechanism that maintains universal balance. Every action generates an equal and opposite reaction, but this response can manifest in dimensions beyond the physical. The great occultist explained that different types of karma operate simultaneously. Individual karma directly affects the person, while family, national, and racial karma influences broader groups. Additionally, there is instantaneous karma that manifests immediately, and karma that may take entire lifetimes to materialize. Blavatsky taught that karma operates through three main channels: thought, emotion, and physical action. Thoughts create energetic patterns that attract similar experiences. Emotions intensify these vibrations, while physical actions crystallize consequences in the material plane. The karmic law does not distinguish between good or bad intentions according to human moral concepts. It simply responds to the vibrational quality of the energy emitted. An action performed with genuine love generates elevated consequences, while an action motivated by selfishness or hatred produces low vibration results. This mechanism operates constantly, weaving each soul's destiny through experiences necessary for its evolution. Understanding this allows the spiritual student to become a conscious architect of their destiny, rather than a victim of apparently random circumstances. Blavatsky revealed that the karmic law extends beyond individual lives, connecting all beings in an intricate web of cause and effect that spans eons. This cosmic justice ensures that no action, however small, goes unnoticed by the universe's balancing forces. Chapter 3. Why the Soul Must Return. According to Blavatsky, reincarnation is not optional but necessary for the evolution of the human soul. In The Key to Theosophy, she explains that a single physical life is insufficient for the soul to develop all the qualities and experiences necessary to achieve spiritual perfection. The human soul, or higher ego, as Blavatsky called it, is a divine spark that must experience all aspects of material existence to fully understand its spiritual nature. This includes being born into different cultures, races, genders, and social conditions to develop universal compassion and integral wisdom. Reincarnation allows lessons not learned in one life to be presented again in different circumstances until the soul masters them completely. If someone fails to develop patience in one existence, they will repeatedly encounter situations requiring this virtue until perfecting it. Blavatsky explained that the interval between lives, known as devachan in theosophical terminology, is a period of assimilation where the soul processes lived experiences and prepares for the next incarnation. During this time, the higher ego designs the circumstances of the next life to maximize growth opportunities. The force that drives return is not negative karma, but the soul's inherent love for evolution and perfection. Each reincarnation is a new opportunity to more fully express inner divinity and contribute to humanity's overall progress. The great Theosophist taught that souls reincarnate in groups, meeting the same spiritual family members across multiple lives to work through complex karmic relationships and mutual learning. This explains instant connections and inexplicable bonds between certain individuals. Chapter 4. The three forces that determine your next life. Blavatsky identified three main forces that determine the circumstances of each new incarnation. Tanha, the desire to live; karma, consequences of past actions; and dharma, the soul's evolutionary purpose. Tanha, a concept taken from Buddhism, represents the insatiable thirst for existence that keeps the soul bound to the cycle of reincarnations. It is not simply fear of death, but a cosmic impulse toward experience and learning. This force ensures that the soul does not stop in its evolution, but continues seeking new opportunities for growth. Accumulated karma acts as a magnet that attracts the soul towards specific circumstances necessary to balance past actions. If someone caused suffering, they will experience situations that teach empathy. If they developed exceptional talents, they will be born with facilities to continue that development. Dharma represents the soul's greater purpose in each life. According to Blavatsky, each soul has a specific mission that contributes to the universal evolutionary plan. Some souls reincarnate to be teachers, others to be healers, artists, or leaders who elevate collective consciousness. These three forces operate simultaneously, creating a unique pattern for each new life. The higher soul, in collaboration with superior cosmic intelligences, selects the family, culture, and circumstances that best serve its specific evolution. Understanding these forces allows the spiritual student to work consciously with them, purifying desires, balancing karma, and aligning with their dharma to accelerate their evolutionary progress. This conscious cooperation transforms the reincarnation process from unconscious drift into purposeful spiritual advancement. Chapter 5. The Fatal Error of Western Religions. Blavatsky harshly criticized how Western religions distorted original teachings about karma and reincarnation. In her works, she demonstrated that early Christianity included these concepts, but they were deliberately eliminated by ecclesiastical authorities seeking control over the masses. The doctrine of one life, followed by eternal judgment, contradicts divine justice, according to Blavatsky. How can a loving God eternally condemn someone for mistakes made in a limited existence, conditioned by circumstances beyond their control? This teaching generates fear, guilt, and dependence on religious intermediaries. The great Theosophist explained that the elimination of reincarnation from Christianity was a political, not spiritual act. Ecclesiastical councils erased these teachings because a believer who understands their immortal nature and the law of cause and effect needs no external salvation nor fears eternal punishment. Blavatsky cited Gnostic texts and writings of early church fathers to demonstrate that reincarnation was accepted doctrine until the 6th century. Saint Jerome, Origen and others recognized the soul's pre-existence and multiple lives. The literal interpretation of karma as simple reward and punishment also impoverishes this cosmic law. Religions reduced it to a moral accounting system, ignoring its evolutionary and transformative function. This distortion has kept the West in spiritual ignorance for centuries, depriving souls of understanding their true nature and purpose. Blavatsky's mission was to restore these ancestral teachings to liberate humanity from limiting dogmas. The founder of Theosophy demonstrated that original Christianity, like all authentic spiritual traditions, taught the eternal progression of the soul through multiple existences toward ultimate reunion with the divine. Chapter 6. The different types of karma. According to Blavatsky, the founder of Theosophy taught that karma operates on multiple levels simultaneously, each with specific characteristics and manifestation times. Understanding these different types is crucial for the student seeking to accelerate their spiritual evolution. Sanchita karma represents the total sum of all actions accumulated through multiple lives. It is like a cosmic bank account where all experiences, both positive and negative, are deposited. This karma determines general tendencies and the soul's evolutionary potential. Prarabdha karma is the portion of Sanchita karma that the soul selects to work with in a specific life. Not all accumulated karma can be processed in a single existence, so the higher soul carefully chooses which aspects to address to maximize growth. Kriyaman karma consists of actions we perform in the present life, creating new consequences for the future. This type of karma is under our direct control and allows us to modify our destiny's course through conscious choices. Blavatsky also identified collective karma, which affects groups, nations, and humanity as a whole. Natural disasters, wars, and massive social changes often represent the manifestation of accumulated group karma. Instantaneous karma operates on the mental and emotional plane, producing immediate results. A thought of love generates instant inner peace, while a thought of hatred produces immediate disturbance. Finally, there exists nirdharana karma, which are consequences that are already determined and inevitable. These experiences must be lived to complete lessons initiated in previous lives. The master taught that understanding these karmic categories allows the student to work more intelligently with cosmic law, focusing efforts where they can create the most positive impact. Chapter 7. The role of suffering in soul evolution. Contrary to religious interpretations that view suffering as divine punishment, Blavatsky explained that pain is the soul's most effective teacher on its path to perfection. In The Voice of the Silence, she describes how difficult experiences accelerate spiritual awakening. Suffering breaks the ego's illusions and forces the soul to seek deeper answers about existence's meaning. A completely comfortable life without challenges can keep the soul asleep, satisfied with material pleasures without seeking its true nature. Blavatsky taught that different types of suffering serve specific evolutionary purposes. Physical suffering develops endurance and compassion. Emotional suffering purifies the heart of selfish attachments. Mental suffering sharpens discrimination between the real and the illusory. However, the great occultist clarified that not all suffering is karmically necessary. Much human pain arises from spiritual ignorance and resistance to life's lessons. When we understand our experience's evolutionary purpose, we can transform suffering into wisdom. The advanced soul learns to accept difficult experiences as growth opportunities, not as destiny's injustices. This attitude transforms the victim into a student and tremendously accelerates the evolutionary process. Blavatsky emphasized that the ultimate goal is not to avoid suffering, but to transcend it by developing equanimity toward all experiences. This is the mark of a soul approaching the end of its cycle of obligatory reincarnations. The Master revealed that conscious suffering, willingly accepted for others' benefit, generates the most powerful karma for spiritual advancement and can burn through lifetimes of accumulated negativity. Chapter 8. How the Higher Ego Chooses Each Life. According to Blavatsky's teachings, the selection of each new life is not random, but a carefully planned process by the higher ego in collaboration with superior spiritual intelligences. This process occurs during the intermediate period between incarnations, known as devachan. In this post-mortem state, the soul objectively reviews all experiences from the recently concluded life, identifying learned lessons, developed virtues, and aspects requiring further work. This review is not external judgment, but honest self-evaluation of evolutionary progress. The higher ego then consults what Blavatsky called the Akashic Records, a cosmic memory containing all experiences of all souls. Here, it can see which circumstances, relationships, and challenges would be most effective for the next growth period. The choice of parents, family, and culture is not casual, but strategic. If the soul needs to develop patience, it may choose to be born in circumstances requiring this virtue. If it must balance karma with another soul, both coordinate their return to meet in the new life. Blavatsky explained that the soul also considers its dharmic mission, how it can contribute to humanity's evolutionary progress in that specific epoch. Some souls choose lives of public service, others of artistic or scientific development, according to what the world needs. The process includes programming key events that will act as catalysts for spiritual awakening, meaningful encounters, transformative crises, and service opportunities that activate the soul's memory of its true purpose. The founder of Theosophy taught that this planning occurs with perfect wisdom, ensuring that each life provides exactly the experiences needed for optimal spiritual advancement. Chapter 9. Signs You're Paying. Ancient karma Blavatsky taught that certain life experiences clearly indicate we are experiencing consequences of actions performed in previous incarnations. Recognizing these signs allows the spiritual student to approach these situations with wisdom rather than resistance. Repetitive patterns that persist despite our conscious efforts to change them often indicate unresolved karma. If someone constantly attracts toxic relationships or experiences recurring financial problems without apparent cause, they are likely balancing energies from past lives. Unexplained phobias from childhood often signal traumas from previous incarnations. An intense fear of water may indicate a past death by drowning, while claustrophobia could relate to experiences of imprisonment or burial. Exceptional talents that manifest early also suggest abilities developed in previous lives. A musical prodigy probably cultivated this capacity through multiple existences and continues its development in the current one. Instant and inexplicable connections with certain people, whether immediate love or intense aversion, indicate significant karmic relationships. These souls have shared important experiences in the past and reunite to complete pending lessons. Blavatsky advised that when we recognize these signs, we should approach situations with conscious acceptance, asking ourselves what lesson the experience is trying to teach us. Resistance prolongs suffering, while understanding accelerates karmic resolution. The Master taught that chronic health issues without clear medical cause often represent karmic imprints from past lives, requiring both physical treatment and spiritual understanding for complete healing. Birthmarks and physical anomalies sometimes indicate violent deaths in previous incarnations, serving as reminders of lessons to be learned. Chapter 10. Group Karma and Humanity's Evolution. Blavatsky explained that besides individual karma, there exists collective karma affecting families, nations, races, and humanity as a whole. This revolutionary concept helps understand massive historical events and global crises from an evolutionary perspective. Family karma arises from the sum of all members' actions through generations. Tendencies, blessings, and challenges that seem inherited in certain families often reflect collective karmic patterns requiring group resolution. National karma explains why certain nations experience periods of prosperity followed by calamities, or vice versa. Citizens' collective actions, especially their leaders, create consequences that manifest as historical events affecting the entire population. Blavatsky taught that massive natural catastrophes, while operating according to physical laws, can also represent the manifestation of accumulated planetary karma. Humanity as a whole is learning to live in harmony with nature and among themselves. Epochs of great social transformation, such as revolutions or cultural renaissances, mark moments when mature collective karma is released, allowing humanity to advance to a new level of consciousness. These transitions are usually turbulent but necessary for evolutionary progress. The spiritual student understands they participate simultaneously in multiple levels of karma, and that their personal evolution contributes to collective karma's improvement. Each awakening soul elevates all humanity's vibration. Blavatsky revealed that great avatars and world teachers incarnate precisely when collective karma reaches critical points, providing the spiritual impulse necessary for humanity's next evolutionary leap. Chapter 11. How to accelerate your spiritual evolution. Although karma operates automatically, Blavatsky taught specific methods to accelerate spiritual evolution and reduce the number of reincarnations necessary to achieve liberation. These methods require conscious effort and sustained dedication. The practice of dharana, mental concentration, develops control over thoughts, allowing the student to create positive karma consciously. When the mind becomes a disciplined instrument, every thought can be directed towards spiritual elevation. Cultivating specific virtues neutralizes accumulated negative karma. Conscious compassion toward all beings balances past acts of cruelty. Generosity counteracts previous selfishness. Consciously developed patience neutralizes impulses of anger and violence. Blavatsky emphasized selfless service as the most effective method to accelerate evolution. When we act for others' welfare without expectation of reward, we generate karma so pure it can rapidly burn accumulated impurities. Study of ancient wisdom, especially texts like the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Buddhist teachings, provides precise maps of the spiritual path. This knowledge allows conscious navigation of the evolutionary process. Regular meditation connects the student with their higher ego, allowing direct access to wisdom accumulated from all incarnations. This connection gradually dissolves the illusion of separation and reveals the fundamental unity of all existence. Finally, the practice of living in the present moment, completely accepting current experiences as perfect for our growth, transforms every moment into an opportunity for liberation. Chapter 12. The Final Destiny. Beyond Reincarnation. Blavatsky revealed that although reincarnation seems an eternal cycle, there exists a final destiny toward which every human soul evolves. Complete liberation from the necessity of reincarnating in dense physical forms. When a soul has fully developed all possible human virtues and balanced all accumulated karma, it reaches what is known as moksha or nirvana. In this state, The soul has become a perfected being that no longer needs material existence's lessons. However, Blavatsky explained there are two paths after achieving this liberation. The Pratyeka Buddha chooses individual bliss, withdrawing from all participation in world evolution. Although having achieved personal perfection, they do not contribute to other beings' progress. The Bodhisattva, on the other hand, chooses the path of supreme sacrifice. Although having earned the right to eternal liberation, they voluntarily renounce it to continue helping humanity. These beings may reincarnate out of compassion, not personal karma. The highest goal, according to Theosophy, is becoming a master of wisdom, a being who has completely transcended human limitations but remains accessible to guide others on the path. These Mahatmas form a spiritual hierarchy that oversees planetary evolution. Blavatsky taught that eventually all humanity will reach this state of perfection. When this occurs, Earth itself will ascend to a superior plane of existence, and the evolutionary cycle will continue in more subtle dimensions. This grandiose vision grants cosmic purpose to each individual life, revealing that every soul is an essential part of the divine plan for universal evolution toward perfection and conscious unity.